Good evening and welcome to the late night edition with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Breaking news coming in, and this coming over the politics over the sentencing of Yasin Malik. Now, there is a diplomatic tussle that is taking place where the MEA has reacted to the statement of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation after it expressed, and I quote, deep concerns over the pronouncement of life sentence for Yasin Malik. The OIC has said he was leading a peaceful freedom struggle for many decades. The MEA has called the statement unacceptable, saying the OIC is showing support for the terrorist activities of Yasin Malik, which were documented and presented in court. The MEA has also said that the world seeks zero tolerance for terrorism and the OIC should not justify it in any manner. That's the big piece of news that's coming in, this diplomatic tussle over the sentencing of Yasin Malik. I'm joined by Tejinder Singh Sodhi on the broadcast. So Tejinder, this diplomatic tussle was bound to happen because Yasin Malik has been the poster boy for many Islamic nations when it comes to the separatist movement in Kashmir.
Ayushman, the MEA has hit back in the right manner. You see, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, they have called Yasin Malik a freedom fighter, a peaceful freedom fighter. But the OIC did not mention that it was Yasin Malik himself who accepted in the court of law, in the NIA special court in Delhi, that he was involved in terror financing, terror funding case, which led to large-scale bloodshed in Kashmir Valley. It was Yasin Malik who himself accepted all the charges and did not contest those charges. Also, Yasin Malik is a prime accused in killing of 4 IEF personnel. We have been speaking to the wife of squadron leader Ravi Khanna, his wife Nirmal Khanna herself saw Yasin Malik pumping 28 bullets into her husband. This happened 32 years ago. But the OIC, as you rightly pointed out, that for OIC, people like Yasin Malik are not terrorists. They are just a poster boy because they tow the agenda. They want Kashmir to become an Islamic Emirates like they made it to Afghanistan. We saw how innocent TikTok artists, innocent social media artists are being killed. Amreen is a prime example. But the MEA has rightly hit back at OIC. Indian side has given out a statement when asked about to comment on the OIC, terming Yasin Malik as a freedom fighter and saying that his sentence is not just. The MEA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi has said that India finds unacceptable the comments made by OIC today criticizing India for the judgment of the case of Yasin Malik. Though these comments, OIC has implicitly expressed support for the terrorist activities of Yasin Malik, which were documented and presented in the court. The world seeks zero tolerance of terrorism, and we urge OIC not to justify it in any manner. So it clearly shows that OIC is justifying the terror activities of Yasin Malik by not uttering a single word against Yasin Malik for killing innocent people, for indulging in terror financing cases for which he himself agreed that he played a major role in terror financing in Kashmir. But OIC, as you rightly pointed out, that OIC, which represents the Islamic countries, for them, people like Yasin Malik, Bita Karate have been a poster boy. They have not uttered a single word about the Muslims being killed in Kashmir Valley by the very Muslims who are sent from across the border by Pakistan. The OIC has not once condemned Pakistan for aiding, abetting and sponsoring terrorism into the Indian side. OIC has never condemned Pakistan for sending arms and ammunition into the Indian side. But yes, whenever there is a judgment in the court of law, whenever the Indian law, Indian constitution acts up against these terrorists and terror sympathizers, OIC is always ready with a statement, not only terming the Yasin Malik as a freedom fighter. The OIC has also gone ahead by saying that the world community should take a note of the atrocities that are being committed in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. Though India has time and again made it clear that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of the Union of India, and this was proven on 5th of August 2019 when the Jammu and Kashmir was fully integrated with the rest of the country by removing the discriminatory articles like Article 370 and 35A. Yes, Ayushman.
Right. And Tejinder, at the same time, even though this diplomatic tussle is taking place with the MEA, has given that very emphatic statement against the OIC. The situation remains that India has changed the status quo of Jammu and Kashmir ever since the abrogation of Article 370. The status quo is very different now. The Indian government, the Indian constitution is firmly in control, and those who have pushed such separatism and terror in the valley are being punished, and Yasin Malik is just first in a long list. Also explain to our viewers the cases that he still faces, because even though he has got a life imprisonment, he is still not out of the woods yet when it comes to those terror charges.
See, Ashman, you rightly pointed out that on August 5, 2019, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir was fully integrated with the Union of India by revoking those discriminatory articles like Article 370, 35A, which discriminated the people of Jammu and Kashmir from the rest of the country. So with that revocation of those two articles, Jammu and Kashmir has been completely assimilated with the rest of the country. Now all the central sponsored schemes, all the developmental works are directly reaching the common masses. As far as Yasin Malik is concerned, the sentencing which happened on 25th of this month, on which OIC has issued a statement, is related to a terror financing case which the NIA had filed after getting concrete evidences of Yasin Malik's role in financing terror in Jammu and Kashmir. He was getting money through various Hawala channels from Pakistan, from various Islamic countries, and that money was funneled into terror activities, into stone pelting, running the rings of youth who were motivated or radicalized to join terror ranks. As far as the two other cases which are still pending in a special TADA court in Jammu, these cases include one, the killing of 4 IEF personnel around 32 years, 4 months ago. Yasin Malik, along with his other two accomplices, had killed 4 Indian Air Force personnel, including squadron leader Ravi Khanna, in broad daylight in Srinagar. The other case pertains to the kidnapping of the daughter of the then Union Home Minister Mufti Muhammad Saeed, Rubia Saeed, who happens to be the sister of Mehbooba Mufti, was kidnapped from Srinagar, and Yasin Malik has a role in it. Now the special TADA court in Jammu has sent a summons to Rubia Saeed to come before the court and present herself and give her witness in the case. Yes, Ayushman.
Right. Thank you, Tejinder, for that comprehensive take amid this diplomatic tussle between the Indian government as well as the OIC. The politics over Yasin Malik's sentencing is far from over, because this man was once a poster boy of the separatist movement, endorsed by many political leaders in the Kashmir Valley, and now he's going to he's going to spend his entire life in a cell for those terror funding charges. He was convicted because he didn't even contest the charges that were leveled against him in that NIA court, and he is a convict who's now going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But he's not out of the woods yet, because as Tejinder is pointing out, he faces many more charges, many more serious charges when it comes to his entire career as a terrorist and a separatist in the Kashmir Valley.